It's the Mustang Insider Show.
What's going on, Mustang fans? We are just about ready for takeoff on a new episode of the Mustang Insider Podcast. We will chat with Cal Poly Wrestling head coach Jon Sioredas ahead of the Mustangs' big home matchup with the 5th-ranked Michigan Wolverines. But before we do so, we'd like to continue to thank our sponsors for bringing the content to you, the fans. It's Dignity Health Central Coast, proud to present the Mustang Insider Podcast. You can trust that quality care is just around the corner at French Hospital Medical Center. Proud supporters of Cal Poly Athletics. Learn more about their healthcare services at dignityhealth.org/French Hospital. We'd also like to give a huge shout out to Grocery Outlet here in San Luis Obispo, right off of Madonna. Get all your fresh ingredients at Grocery Outlet San Luis Obispo store. Feast on the yummy tailgating favorites. You can find them in the Mustang Tailgater recipe book. Anything from sizzling fajitas to hearty beef sliders, bite-sized mini taco cups, and more. Make sure to get your shopping done at Grocery Outlet San Luis Obispo, conveniently located on Madonna. All right, so Cal Poly Wrestling in the top 25. They've been battle-tested. They'll continue to be battle-tested until we get to the Pac-12 schedule. Jon Sioredas, the head coach, is our guest here on the Mustang Insider Podcast. Coach, Happy New Year. How were your holidays? I know the holidays are already and always right in the middle of your schedule here during the wrestling season.
Happy New Year. Thanks, Chris, for having me on. Yeah, things are going well. Yeah, being in the middle of the season is a pretty busy holiday. We're down in New Orleans for 4 or 5 days at the collegiate duels, which is essentially the national duels for our sport. So been pretty busy. Had a couple days off to recoup, and now we're back at it with Michigan coming up here tomorrow night.
Yeah, and it's not just Michigan. It's been a loaded non-conference schedule for you guys. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, you had Minnesota here middle of December. That's a top 5 program. 7th-ranked North Carolina State at the collegiate wrestling duels. You also took on 19th-ranked Lehigh. What have you been able to kind of learn about this group facing some of the best in the country?
So this has been the first time since I've been here that we've had the ability to wrestle with these guys. We've always had some star power, but now collectively, I feel like we have 10 impact players that, we can go out and we can really, put on a show against some of the best teams in the country. So those are the things we think about as we're working on our schedule. And I knew we had to test our guys. If our goal is to, do the best we can at the NCAA championship at the end of the year, why not try to wrestle many of these teams that we're going to see at NCAAs earlier in the season? So yeah, I mean, strength of schedule, definitely the strongest in quite a while. And our guys are adapting well. I mean, we got humbled a couple of times. I think if you look at the scorecard, it might not represent exactly how competitive some of these matches actually were. But our guys are close, man, close. Some of our guys are breaking through, and I think we got a number of others that are just, right on the cuff. And in order to be the best, you got to wrestle the best. And I'm a firm believer of that.
So looking at your previous matchups against ranked competition, and Michigan will be the highest ranked opponent that you have seen so far this season. That could change once we get into the Pac-12. Still waiting to see how some of those teams finish up their non-conference slates. But I'm looking at 10th ranked Minnesota. I mentioned Lehigh, North Carolina State were both top 25 foes. How does Michigan maybe mirror or differ from the other ranked teams you've seen this season?
So Michigan finished second last year at the NCAAs. They were Big Ten champs. They got most of their guys back. So just, they do an incredible job. Really strong program. I mean, they're in the conversation. They're one of the best in the country. I do think Minnesota, I think NC State, all those teams are in the conversation and trophy contenders. And, eventually that's where we want to get to. So it's going to be challenging for sure. They have a lot of star power. They have a lot of depth. And they're going to bring 10 guys that, all 10 are very, very competitive. And, so that being said, I think it's just nothing more than, an incredible opportunity for our guys to go out and see where we're at. We're going to be favored in a couple matches, but there's going to be a number. I would argue almost most of the matches are going to be, within 1, 2, 3 points. And that, we're going to have to give ourselves a chance to try to beat these guys. We're not bringing them in just to wrestle them and get a good gate. I mean, we're going to try to win, and that's our goal. And I don't think we're too far off.
Jon Sioredas, Cal Poly wrestling head coach, our guest in his 7th season at the helm of the program. And what a long way. I mean, you've taken this program from the day you got here. I mean, you were taking over a program that didn't find the win column a whole lot before you got here. And obviously, your first couple of seasons, you were building, you were recruiting, you were trying to get your style of wrestlers into this program. You're a top 25 program right now. You were a ranked team much of last season as well. What's the next step for Cal Poly wrestling? Obviously, I know you want to take care of business against a top 5 opponent like Michigan. That would go a long way. And obviously, winning the Pac-12, competing for a top spot in the conference would go a long way. But now that you've got this program 2 consecutive seasons in the top 25, like what's next for Jon Sioredas at the helm of this Cal Poly wrestling program?
So continuous improvement, that's always been our mantra. We want to wrestle to our potential. We're starting to get higher level recruits coming in, whether they be transfers from the portal or blue chippers coming out of high school. And we're just continuing to level up and wrestle to the best of our ability. You know, we challenge our guys to wrestle to their potential. And I feel like we still have some room to grow. Absolutely. And you can win at Cal Poly, period. We're proving it. Pretty remarkable turnaround when you think back. I mean, from the outside looking in, when we arrived, we had 0 NCAA qualifiers and, obviously 0 points and, which is pretty much dead last. And, within 5 years, we're able to finish in the top 25. And then year 6 last year, we broke into the top 10, I think in January. So this year, we're just continuing trying to take steps forward and we do have the manpower. We do have the quality of student athletes that have the aptitude to really compete at the highest level. And that's what we're looking for. But one thing that I've learned is that going from last to 25th was, a great body of work and very challenging. And we're able to accomplish those goals. But going from 25th to 15th is also very challenging. I mean, there is just some super programs out there, a lot of Power 5 schools with a lot of star power and just continuing to move forward. And I feel like I'm very happy with where we're at. I'm very happy with where we're at. It might look like we've stumbled a little bit from a scorecard standpoint, like I mentioned earlier, but then look who we're wrestling. I mean, we're literally wrestling some of the best teams in the country. And when we get into our Pac-12 schedule, the Pac-12 is also, very, very strong conference. And, 6 teams, I think, at one point already this year, 4 of the 6 have been ranked in the top 25, whether that be dual meet or tournament strength. So we're going to have our work cut out once we get into our Pac-12 schedule. But I think that combined with our non-conference schedule, we're going to absolutely be ready for the NCAA championships come March in Tulsa.
Yeah, you mentioned how you've kind of built this program. It's been a mix of getting your type of guys from the high school level, developing them here over the course of 4 or 5 years at Cal Poly, and also utilizing the transfer portal. Now, when you first got here, the transfer portal wasn't even a thing, but you've gotten some quality talent from there, to say the least. Adam Kemp, got him from Fresno State. Obviously, Evan Wick came over from the Midwest, Big Ten, Wisconsin, and now he's a part of your coaching staff. Tell me about some of these young guys, because I look up and down the roster. I see a lot of freshmen. I see a lot of redshirt freshmen. I've seen guys that are in their 3rd year but still qualify as a freshman because of the COVID year and maybe just a natural redshirting season. Who are some of the young guys that you're excited about that we might see a little bit of this season, but big picture, you look at them to maybe be some real stability wrestlers for your program?
So the COVID waiver certainly helped from an eligibility standpoint. So, we do have a number of guys in year 3 and year 4 that are stars. And yeah, they're freshman eligibility. I mean, our heavyweight, Trevor Tinker, is a 3rd-year freshman because, typical red shirt plus the COVID waiver. Now he's a freshman and plans to, wrestle all of his eligibility. And so, we got him for 4 years counting this year. And he's one of the young bucks that has really turned the corner. He gets better every time he wrestles. And, he's gained about 60 pounds over the last 2 years of muscle. He's 6'7" and can move and just has the eagerness to learn and get better. So he's someone that we're really proud of. We've had him for 3 years, but still a freshman. A couple of sophomores in there as well with Antonio Lorenzo, our 125 pounder. About mid-year last year, he started to turn the corner a little bit and then just has been on fire all year this year and has, wrestled with some of the top guys in the country. And, he's in the conversation, I think, of really going deep at the tournament NCAAs. Legend Lamer's another one. He's up 2 weight classes and has acclimated and has gained some muscle and is starting to turn the corner over these last couple of weeks. So, just a number of young guys. I think if you look at our overall roster, or even our starting 10, outside of 33 and 49, there are only 2 seniors. Everyone else in there they're underclassmen. They're, they still have years of eligibility left counting this year. Even our star Bernie Truax, he's only a junior from an eligibility standpoint and plans to come back next year. Along with, a number of other guys. So it's really exciting. And to me, that tells me and our coaching staff that we're not going anywhere. This isn't, one transfer, two transfer comes in and they're one and done and then we fall back off. I mean, we collectively got a group of guys and even guys in redshirt, our freshman class. I mean, we got several top 100 recruits that are chomping at the bit, ready to get in the lineup. Zeth Romney, Dom Mendez, these guys are, getting some competition in as red shirts and they're going to be ready to go next year. So it's really, really exciting about collectively where we're at.
Yeah, Dom Mendez, a local kid from down in Santa Maria, Rigetti High School, got a chance to see him. Had a really impressive showing against Lindenwood in the home opener part of that doubleheader you had against Minnesota last month. But I got to talk about the Wicks, right? The Wick connection. You had Evan Wick last year, a terrific season for you guys in his lone year at Cal Poly, but you were able to keep him around this team and now part of your staff. He's an assistant coach. Luka Wick is a member of the program as well, 5'8", $157, redshirt freshman. They're from San Marino down south. How important was it to keep Evan kind of with this program and kind of continue the momentum? I know you miss him on the mats out there, but how nice is it to have him around some of these young guys to serve as a mentor, because he had a ton of success at Wisconsin and here in a season at Cal Poly.
So that's always been part of the conversation when he first transferred in. We wanted to keep him around and this to be a home base, not just because of his younger brother being on the team, but his high school coach, Coach Azevedo, who's also his freestyle RTC coach, being in town. And there was just a number of things that came together. But I think with Evan specifically, great wrestler, right? Was ranked #1. He's a 4-time All-American. I honestly believe he's going to be an even better coach. I mean, he is just articulate. He resonates with the guys, can relate, and is just really, really good at what he does. And having him in the room has elevated our training. And the fact that he's still training, trying to make World Olympic teams, it's, learn by doing, right? You're looking over and there's, a great mentor training, to have a coach that is going through every workout with you and not just barking orders, I think carries a tremendous amount of weight. And he's done an excellent job. Luka, his brother is, was a very highly ranked recruit coming out of high school. And we ended up, signing him and he's continuing to develop and I think doing a good job. And, he's ready to learn and get better. And you can see him taking steps week after week. And he's got unbelievable athletic ability. I think he's going to be great. And it might be as soon as this year, it might be as soon as tomorrow. But for Luka, the work that he's putting in, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I mean, he's absolutely going to break through. And obviously having his brother Evan there pushing him as well, too, is pretty neat.
Jon Sioredas, Cal Poly wrestling head coach, our guest on this edition of the Mustang Insider. Mustangs have a big one Friday night, 7 p.m. in Mott Athletic Center. 5th-ranked Michigan comes to town for a top 25 clash. We'll dive into that matchup in just a moment. I got to ask you about Bernie Truax. You mentioned him a few moments ago. I mean, he has been a staple of your program since the day he walked on campus. What makes him such a nightmare mismatch with just about everybody he goes up against? Because not only is this guy winning, but he is dominating, and he has done that for the most part since he arrived.
Bernie's cut from a different cloth. And I think from the time he's arrived, he's had a chip on his shoulder and he still has that chip. And just his overall training is what everyone's being able to witness now under the lights. And he continues to get better as well, too. Obviously, he's accomplished some monster goals. I mean, he's got 2 years of eligibility left. He's already a 2-time All-American. Cal Poly's never had a 4-time All-American, by the way, Division I, that didn't transfer in outside of Evan Wick. So, has an opportunity to accomplish some amazing feats. And I think he's ranked as high as #2 in some rankings that I've seen this week. And but what most people don't see is the way he lives his life. And I mean, just from, going up a weight class every year for 4 years straight. I mean, he's wrestled in 5 different weights in 4 years, and just his commitment to his diet, nutrition, and his strength and conditioning and his sleep patterns. I mean, his daily habits, he's just different, and if you spend time with the young man, why he has so much success, because he puts the time into it. And it's pretty remarkable. I'm just happy that we get to have a front row seat of his successes. And he's another one that, after he graduates 2 years from now, our hope is to keep him on board in a similar position as Evan, where he can continue to train and make world and Olympic teams and also be part of our coaching staff as well too. But yeah, it's nice to have some homegrown, California boys in here that really come to Cal Poly and hit their stride. But he himself has absolutely earned everything that we're seeing.
A lot of wrestling talent here in California, and obviously a ton of wrestling talent coming from the Midwest. And we're going to get a flavor of that. Already did when Minnesota was here, but we'll see a different level of that when Michigan comes to town here on Friday night. I mean, you look at the body of work from this Wolverine program, second to Penn State in last year's national. They had 6 All-Americans, including an NCAA champion. This lineup, a ton of ranked guys that you're going to see tomorrow night. Mason Paris, number 2 at 285, 13-0 this season. Dylan Ragusin, 7-2. 5th in the country at $133. Will Lewin, number 8 at 157. I mean, the list goes on and on for Michigan. So as you've looked at some tape and as you guys have gotten ready for the Wolverines, what are some keys for the Mustangs to get this thing done at home on Friday night against the 5th-ranked team in the country?
We traditionally have wrestled really well at home. And I think there's a number of reasons why. I mean, there's a lot of variables, but I think we have to have that chip on our shoulder and be the hunters and go out and see what we can do. And if we wrestle to our full capabilities, which I fully anticipate, it's going to be a good match. It is going to be a really good match. Now, hats off to Michigan. They've put together an amazing team, and they've earned everything that they've gotten so far. I mean, they're going to be contenders this year. They're really, really talented. But at the same time, I feel like we also have some guys. We have a number of guys that are very, very competitive, and I think we match up well. I really do. I think it's going to be a handful of bouts where we're going to give them fits and vice versa, and that's why we wrestle them, right? That's why we wanted to wrestle them, and I'm very happy and grateful that they made the trip out west. It's not very typical that we get Big Ten powerhouse in town and slow, and the fact that we had 2 teams do it this year is it shows that there's value in wrestling Cal Poly at Cal Poly. So we're excited. Just another opportunity for us to see where we're at. It's a benchmark and an opportunity to learn and grow from. So we'll wrestle tomorrow night and get after it. Then we'll be back in the room Saturday morning watching film, and we got a short turnaround, and then we're back at it the following week. So we'll do the best we can, and we'll grow from it, and we'll move forward.
It'll be a Colorado road trip to wrap the pre-Pac-12 schedule. You go to Air Force Friday, January 13th, and then Northern Colorado up in Greeley on Sunday the 15th. And then don't look now, Coach, but just a couple weeks away, it's the Pac-12 opener, January 21st, on the road against an Arizona State program that is always a factor in the Pac-12. What are some things your team needs to show you between now and then to feel really good about heading into the conference slate?
So just continuous improvement. I think as long as we continue to put in the body of work, which we've had. These past couple of weeks have been fantastic since we've gotten back from New Orleans. We got humbled a little bit. We got beat up a little bit, and we were able to, to come back that next day and shake it off and put together a good performance. And I think that gave us some momentum through the break. So just a great couple of weeks of training, and then we'll see where we're at tomorrow night against Michigan, and then we'll learn from it and put together a couple more weeks. I feel like our team is getting better. So it's not, sometimes there's situations where you fine tune, you pull off, you make sure you guys are healthy, and you go out there and wrestle. I feel like this team's different. We've been putting a little bit more time and emphasis and actually training and making sure that we're dialing in and we're growing at a rapid pace, because we got to continue to improve. And that's what we're looking for, just improvement. And I think going to Colorado is going to be a great test. 2 well-coached teams. They got a number of individuals that, are very, very strong. And then, rolling into the Pac-12 schedule, it's going to be, much anticipated. I mean, it is a rigorous conference. I mean, we got 4 teams out of the 6 that are, been ranked, that are, really, really strong programs. And the Pac-12 and the West Coast has been doing a really, really good job in the sport of wrestling. And it's fun. It's fun to push each other and challenge each other, and then get through the Pac-12 championships, and then, off to the big one down in Tulsa at NCAAs is what it's all about.
Well, no better place to be on the first Friday of 2023 than Mott Athletic Center. The maize and blue, the green and gold. Top 25 matchup. Michigan visits Cal Poly, 7 p.m. Tickets still available. If you can't make it out, or if you're not in the area, we'll have the live stream for you on Twitter and gopoly.com. Jon Sioredas, Cal Poly Wrestling head coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck in these final 3 non-conference bouts, and we are looking forward to the Pac-12 season.
Thanks, Chris. Always appreciate it.
All right, good stuff from Cal Poly Wrestling head coach Jon Sioredas. It is about to be a busy time around Cal Poly. You got the basketball programs going, the wrestling program trying to continue their upward trend. And then before you know it, baseball, softball, other spring sports will be on the docket for everything Cal Poly Athletics. Keep it locked at CP Mustangs on Twitter and gopoly.com. Until then, you've been watching the Mustang Insider. I'm Chris Sylvester.
This has been the Mustang Insider Show. The preceding has been a Learfield's presentation on the Cal Poly Sports Network.